Hello there, and welcome back. It's Muck Showcase time. The UT-80, or the Unstable Terrain Artillery Transport, is one of those vehicles that LEGO fans have been begging an official set of for years. Even though it's only had like 10 seconds of screen time in Revenge of the Sith, and all we see it do is get blown up by an Octoptara droid. It's like the Boba Fett of vehicles in a lot of ways, just hanging around for a few seconds doing nothing, and then fucking dies. But hey, it looks cool. At least Boba Fett's had his redemption, though I don't think you could really call it that.
Like a bantha.
It's almost like Disney's speedrunning assassinating all of our favorite characters. Also, watch out, Lando. You're next. Anyway, we got off topic there. Where was I? Right, the UT-80. It's pretty cool. And if it ever appears again, I doubt Disney is able to ruin it, because it's just a ship. I mean, probably. Anyway, LEGO fans really want a UT-80, and we almost got one back in the late 2000s in correlation with the Clone Wars waves, as you can see from this prototype model that was featured in a book. And for some reason, LEGO also confused it with the SFAT, which is on brand for them. I mean, who wouldn't confuse them? They look so much alike. Also, yeah, LEGO's always been like this. Stop pretending it's a recent thing that's happened. Fucking man-children and their YouTube channels. And hey, maybe we'll get one next year, 20th anniversary of Rots and all. But then again, if the clickbait garbage that I really want to make a video on someday is to be believed, that's not gonna happen. So instead, I decided to step up to the plate and... What? Oh. Well, shit. I've just been informed that this video's actually not about the UT-80, and that it's only tangentially related to the main subject of the video because they share a similar name and are both repulsor craft. I was supposed to build one many months ago because it won a poll, but I didn't. The UT-PT, or the Unstable Terrain Personal Transport, aka the Caterpillar, is a repulsor craft I designed and built about a month ago. Named with the help of the LEGO Star Wars subreddit, so thanks to Spartan Ocelot and Sleepy Banana Bread for the model and nickname respectively. I appreciate it very, very much. And thanks to all the other people who suggested names in general. Also, here's some funny comments left below the original Reddit post. Hilarious. I mean, they're actually funny, but it's really... Now, let us get to the showcase. First, here's how it scales with the figure and the dimensions of the model. And now, let's slide on up and close and take a look at those juicy details. Once again starting with one of my favorite parts, the ingot piece, which you can see all around this guy. Even these 1x2 tiles on the side should be ingots as well, but my collection is unfortunately very limited. Here we also have a slight bit of greebling on the door, as well as the Republic insignia, specifically the 6-pronged version. Yes, that's a thing. No, I have no idea what the difference is. That's just what LEGO happens to make in light bluish gray. Making our way to the back of the ship, we have some proper greebling, and also these 2x4x4 half-cylinder bricks to suggest, for example, fuel tanks, which are handily exposed to the enemy, making it nice and easy to... which I think is very much in line with other Star Wars vehicles. Here I can also mention the angles that I have achieved with this model. The build is relatively simple, but the mostly no-gaps look is incredibly satisfying. And I'm not going to expose how I did it, so if you want to know, then get the instructions from the link below. Wait, that right. The opposite side of the ship is basically identical to the other, with the exception of the door greebles. At the front of the ship, we have the main weapons with these 2 dual laser cannons. They can both be angled up and down. Before we continue the showcase, I'll talk a little on the history and inspiration for this vehicle. The initial idea of the ship being a Republic version of the ITT, Imperial Troop Transport, which I quickly combined with the general aspects and repulsor design of the UT-80. The asymmetrical positioning of the gunner and driver's seats was one of the first design details I came up with while prototyping this model. I think it gives the ship a unique personality, differentiating itself from the rest of the Republic landcraft lineup, while still maintaining the grey blob appearance. Originally, the ship was also supposed to be in the size range of the ATT, about 8 meters in length, but pretty quickly grew to be almost the same size as an AT-OT, about 14 meters. The UT-80 still remains much larger at nearly 24 meters. And with that said, let's get back to the showcase. The driver's cockpit was naturally heavily inspired by the other Republic land vehicles, such as the ATTE and UT-80. Both the gunners and driver's seats can be accessed by opening up their respective viewports. Both are seated in official LEGO chairs and have a small console in front of them, the gunners attached to his viewport/cover. One slight issue with the cockpit of the driver is that his arms have to be positioned just right for it to open and close smoothly. Not a grave problem, but something you should definitely be aware of if you wish to build this model for yourself and not damage your precious clone troopers. Now, I think it's a good time to take a closer look at the repulsors on this craft. There are 5 pairs, so 10 in total, but each pair is built as a single assembly. The angles are achieved using bar hinges, and the tips of the repulsors are made using these grilled slopes, one of the only weak points of this model, as they fall off fairly easily if the build is knocked around. Now, if you take a look at the UT-80, you might notice that the repulsors are not flat with the ground, and instead angle slightly upwards in towards the bottom of the hull. This was a design choice I decided to ignore in favor of a stronger, more stable build. Moving on to the roof of the ship, we have some more greebles at the front. Can you guess what these binoculars are representing? The answer will not surprise you. At the back we have some more details with these rounded tiles that I envisioned as exhaust ports. We also have these rail looking things, as if you could maybe attach something to them. Speaking of which, attachments. The one criticism I received multiple times when it came to the design of this vehicle was the lack of weapons. So I built these 2 turrets that can be equipped on the top of the ship, giving it the 360 degrees of defense it desperately needed. Other attachments include these cargo pods, here built in red and yellow. The one in the instructions link below will be orange, the best color for Star Wars cargo pods, though you yourself can build it in any color you wish. Finally, this communications array, which I imagine would be used on scouting missions, providing long-range contact with the home base. In the parts list and instructions provided on my replica, you will be instructed to build one of each of these attachments. So if you wish to build multiples or ignore one of them, then that's something you must account for when parting out the model. Finally, we can move on inside, with the figure access being through these folding doors, which are, in my opinion, very nicely integrated into the side of the ship. Unfortunately, no studs to stand on, but after finagling around a bit, it is possible to pose figures as if they're leaving or entering the ship, though they will fall over very easily. For us huge figures, I have made most of the roof removable, allowing for very easy access to most of the interior. Inside we can find 12 seats in addition to the gunner and pilot, making the total capacity 14 troopers, though you can easily add way more just standing around. Some of the seats are also a bit harder to reach, especially the ones all the way back and front. Other than the seats, there is also a periscope for the vehicle commander to scout from, the other end represented at the top by, you guessed it, the binoculars we took a look at earlier. There is no actual connection between the two, and it's just visual detail. And that does it for the UTPT. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. All feedback is welcomed with open arms, as long as you're not a dick about it. If you wish to build this thing for yourself, as if it hasn't become clear already, you can do so by getting the instructions from my Rubricable page, How to 5, also linked at the top of the description. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more like it, then be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as well as ring the bell to get notified when I put out my next showcase or review. Also, become member for extra perks, that be the join button. And with that, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay tuned. Alright, bye!